Gardening, the best activity for mental health, and maybe the best activity for health in general. The blue zones, the places on Earth where people live the longest and in good health, especially by comparison with non-blue zone areas, all of these places and peoples share gardening as a significant pastime. Gardening also features significantly in the lives of those who make it to 100 and beyond. Gardening has been shown to lower cortisol levels and has left people studied feeling fully restored, even after exposure to a stressful stimuli right before their 30 minutes of gardening. And yes, there was a control group who read for 30 minutes. And Harvard have found that people who regularly engage in gardening have the lowest state and trait anxiety. People who engage in gardening have a 36% lower risk of dementia in old age. And small-scale, self-employed farmers are a third less likely to suffer from chronic disease, such as CVD, diabetes, or cancer. Now, it's really important to note that these are small-scale farmers and self-employed farmers, a far cry from the monocroppers at the mercy of the markets, saddled with debt and depression, spraying toxic cidal cocktails on their crops and probably on themselves. Gardeners have increased social connection, crucial for our mental health. Gardeners have autonomy to act and experiment as they see fit. They build competency through to mastery over the years, and we've already covered their increased social connection and relatedness. So this all sounds great, but how and why does it happen? Gardening provides routine and something to do every day. Gardens provide meaning and purpose, ongoing mental stimulation without the need for Sudoku. There's always something new to observe or learn, but no pressure to run before you can walk. In the garden, our circadian rhythm is aligned to the sun, along with the birds and the bees, and if you look closely, even the flowers, leaves, and the soil itself. Talking of sun, vitamin D synthesis all year round in some parts of the world, and yes, you can get a tan in midwinter even here in the UK, especially if you have a walipinia or a greenhouse where you can go and shelter from the cold but still get the sunlight. Gardening provides very local food that can and should be organic and regenerative. Excellent soil equals excellent soil life equals excellent gut bacteria equals excellent human. Serotonin, anyone? Gardens are better when shared with other humans, and by necessity, gardens are shared with other critters, and the best gardens intentionally include them. Gardeners experience greater groundedness and connection. Just being in nature helps us live longer. How can you garden without nature? One Harvard study found that people who were surrounded by lush greenery lived longer, with a lower chance of developing cancer or respiratory illness. And doctors in Scotland can now prescribe time in nature for sick patients because they've realised the broad-ranging therapeutic effects of just being outside in it. Think about it. All traditional medicines are nature, and much of modern Western medicine is an approximation of substances found and extracted from nature. Nature is medicine. Small prophylactic daily doses. Gardening is constant low-level activity with the occasional heavy lift, especially in winter when you need to keep warm. Turning the compost can be a fun family activity that works up a sweat seriously fast. Sure, gardening is part about outcomes and getting a harvest, and partly just because it's beautiful and invigorating, but it's also partly because it's an experiment that we get caught up in. Gardening is flow. Gardening is play. Gardening and growing our own is an opportunity to disentangle ourselves from big ag and big pharma and develop local networks of mutuality, exchange and friendship. This is a big win for our personal and societal health. But Jake, I don't have a garden. Even if you don't have a garden, houseplants are an excellent alternative. Bonsai trees are cool, and microgreens are a winner on any windowsill. Want more info on that? Book a call with Alex and I'm sure he'll fill you in on all you need to know. Okay, so the ultimate primal activity would be hunting and gathering. But gardening, the slightly more refined, younger cousin, is perhaps what we've really evolved to practice. Nearly all the benefits of hunting and gathering without some of the drawbacks of frequent injury and infection. And if you want some hormetic stress, sure, go ahead, add that in. But you can hold the saber-toothed tiger. All right. In my book, to be primal is to garden.